Ever wondered if someone is lying to you? It's a question as old as communication itself. The intrigue of deception, the enigma of a lie. It's an aspect of human interaction that has puzzled us for centuries. Whether in the boardroom, a social gathering, or a one-on-one conversation, understanding the signs of deceit can be a powerful tool. It's not about playing detective, but about enhancing our interactions, making them more authentic. So let's dive right into this fascinating world of deceit. The first sign to watch out for is inconsistency. Now let's be clear, we're not talking about the little white lies we all tell from time to time. You know, like when you tell your friend their new haircut looks great, when it really looks like a lawnmower ran amok. No, we're talking about the big discrepancies, the ones that make you raise an eyebrow and question what's really going on. Inconsistencies can come in many forms. Maybe they're telling you a story and the details keep changing. One minute they were at the grocery store at 6, the next it's 7. Or perhaps the reason for their actions keeps shifting, like a chameleon changing colors. Paying attention to these inconsistencies can be a major red flag that someone is not being truthful. It's all about observing, questioning, and most importantly, remembering. Because as the saying goes, the devil is always in the details. Our bodies often reveal what our words try to hide. It's quite fascinating, really. Body language plays a crucial role in communication, often acting as a mirror to our subconscious. The way we sit, the way we move, even the way we blink can tell a story. And when it comes to spotting deception, body language can be a veritable treasure trove. For instance, lack of eye contact can be a sign someone's not exactly being forthright. Now don't get me wrong, we all look away from time to time. But when someone consistently avoids your gaze while discussing a serious matter, it might be because they're trying to hide something. Then there's fidgeting. Unnecessary hand movements, tapping feet, or shifting in place can indicate discomfort or nervousness, which could be signs of dishonesty. So keep an eye on those twitchy fingers and wandering eyes. They might just be hinting at a hidden truth. Sometimes people try a little too hard to convince us. Picture this scenario. You ask your friend if they've seen your missing chocolate bar, and they launch into a 10-minute monologue about their sworn allegiance to a sugar-free life. Seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? That, my friends, is what we call overcompensation, and it's a classic sign of deception. Overcompensation is like a theatrical performance. It's when someone goes above and beyond to prove their point, often providing more information than needed. They tend to overemphasize their innocence or honesty, often without you even asking for it. Remember the chocolate thief? A simple "no, I haven't seen it" would have been enough. But the lengthy speech about their dietary habits, that's overcompensation. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about defensiveness. This is when someone becomes overly sensitive or argumentative when questioned. Let's say you casually ask your coworker if they're caught up on a project, and they snap back with, "Why are you always on my case? I'm not the only one working on this." This reaction is more intense than the situation calls for, right? That's defensiveness, and it can be a red flag that something's amiss. Here's the thing. Humans are wired for self-preservation. When we feel threatened or cornered, our instinctive response is to defend ourselves. But when someone's reaction is disproportionate to the question or situation at hand, it's often because they have something to hide. The key here is to look for a mismatch between the situation and the person's reaction. If your innocent question triggers an Oscar-worthy performance or a defensive outburst, you might be dealing with a fibber. But remember, these signs aren't foolproof. They're just indicators, not definitive proof. Always approach the situation with empathy and understanding. And of course, a healthy dose of skepticism never hurts. So, when someone gets too defensive or tries too hard to convince you, it might be time to raise an eyebrow. Scene script. Our voices can betray us, and so can our silences. Ever noticed how your voice tends to squeak when you're nervous? Or how it drops when you're trying to convince someone of something? Well, it's not just you. When someone is lying, their voice can change in pitch, speed, or volume, revealing their deceit like a bad poker face. Let's delve into the mechanics of this. When we're stressed, our vocal cords tighten. This may cause someone's voice to increase in pitch. On the other hand, they might consciously lower their voice in an attempt to appear more sincere. The sudden shift from high to low or vice versa could be a sign of a fabricated tale. Speed is another giveaway. A fast talker might be trying to rush through a lie, hoping you won't catch the inconsistencies. Conversely, a slow talker might be carefully choosing their words, trying to craft a believable story. So, if you notice an unusual pace in someone's speech, it might be time to put on your detective hat. Now let's talk about volume. When people are insecure about what they're saying, they often subconsciously lower their volume. It's as if they're trying to make their lie less noticeable. So, if someone's voice suddenly drops to a whisper, they might be attempting to hide something. Moving on to our next point, unnatural pauses. These are the awkward silences when someone is trying to think of their next lie. It's like they've hit the pause button on their mental movie, trying to write the next scene. These pauses might seem like an eternity, but in reality, they only last a few seconds. Yet those few seconds might be enough to reveal their deceit. So, pay attention to these subtle shifts in voice and pauses. They might just be the clues you need to uncover the truth. Remember, even the best liars can slip up, and when they do, their voice is often the first to give them away. So listen carefully, because silence can speak volumes. The truth lies somewhere between saying too little and saying too much. Now, let's dive into another fascinating aspect of deception: avoidance and oversharing. It's like a seesaw. Sometimes you're getting too much information, other times not enough. Both can be signs of deceit. In the realm of avoidance, it's all about dodging the bullet. Imagine someone asked, "Did you eat the last slice of pizza?" And the response is, "I love pizza, but carbs are not good for my diet." Notice how the question was not directly answered? That's avoidance. The person didn't outright lie, but they didn't tell the truth either. It's a subtle dance around the truth, like a matador evading a bull. Now, let's flip the coin and look at oversharing. This is when someone gives you a novel in response to a simple question. "Did you enjoy the concert?" Receives a response that spans from the moment they left their house to the traffic on the way, the weather, the long line at the ticket booth, right down to the details of each song played. It's as if they're trying to drown the truth in a sea of details. It's like using a fire hose to water a seedling. It's excessive and unnecessary. Both avoidance and oversharing are attempts to distract from the truth. In the case of avoidance, the goal is to steer away from the truth by not addressing it directly. On the other hand, oversharing aims to bury the truth under a landslide of details, hoping it won't be found. So next time you're in a conversation, keep an ear out for these signs. Is the person avoiding the question or giving you an encyclopedia of information? If so, they might be trying to hide something. But remember, these are just potential signs, not definitive proof. Always approach the situation with understanding and respect. Remember, it's all about finding the balance between what's said and what's left unsaid. So, we've journeyed through the murky realm of deception. We've seen that inconsistency can be a telltale sign of a lie. If a story doesn't add up over time, or if it's peppered with contradictions, you may be dealing with a dishonest individual. Then we've delved into the world of body language. Uncomfortable or forced gestures, lack of eye contact, fidgeting. All these can be signs that someone is not being truthful. We've also examined the phenomena of overcompensation and defensiveness. When someone is trying too hard to convince you of their honesty or becomes overly defensive when questioned, it's possible they're hiding something. Then there's the change in voice and unnatural pauses. A sudden change in pitch or an uncharacteristic pause could indicate that someone is conjuring a lie. Finally, we've explored avoidance and oversharing. If a person is dodging your questions or bombarding you with unnecessary details, they might be trying to distract you from the truth. But remember, these signs are not foolproof. They are guidelines to help you discern, not definitive proof of deception. When confronting someone you suspect is lying, do so with respect and consideration. Accusations can damage relationships, so tread lightly. Seek truth, but remember that everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt. And there you have it, 8 signs to help you navigate the world of deception. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use these signs wisely.